did you meet? Not by chance. Don't cry, young lovers, whatever you do. Say don't cry because I'm alone.
Welcome back. I'm Michael. You are listening to The Michael Dresser Show. Jack Zufelt with us, the author of The DNA of Success. Know what you want to get what you want. He's one of the most successful speakers and business consultants on the national and the international scene. He's a very popular keynote speaker, and he conducts seminars and customized training programs as well as life-changing weekend retreats all over the world. Jack, hi. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Michael. I'm glad to be on with you.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, I think the title says what everybody, whether you're a business, an individual, or whatever it is, you know, the DNA of success, but know what you want to get what you want. And I guess, Jack, the real question is, do most people even have any idea of what they want?
That's the best question I've ever been asked on an interview like this. You are on, man. Let me tell you that 97% of the people out there cannot accurately identify what they want with all their heart. On a scale from 1 to 100, 100 is all their heart, wholehearted. Half-hearted would be 50. They usually are somewhere between 50 and 90. They rarely can find what they want with all their heart, which is what made my book so popular, because it talks about specifically how do you figure that out.
But well, let me ask you this, Jack. How much does fear play into that? You know, obviously somebody might think they want something, but then they don't feel that they have the wherewithal to get it. I know there's steps to get there. It's in a process. But does fear have anything to do in this process?
It's an identifier. If the fear is bigger than the core desire to get whatever it is, the fear wins out, and it wasn't a core desire at 100. When it is a core desire at 100, something else comes in called courage. Courage is what you do in spite of fear. You do it anyway. If you're afraid of heights, and I am, I would climb to the highest place to save one of my children or my wife.
Okay, now there's the whole point. It's going beyond yourself, and I think yourself is a definition. We define ourselves. We define our parameters, what we think we can do, what we can't do, based on what somebody else thinks how we should be like. I don't know if grammatically that was correct, but the idea
and
is
also
there.
What we think. You know, if we listen to our head, I tell everybody your head's going to lead you astray. We need to let our head be able to learn how to get whatever our heart wants. I call it mindset versus heart set. What's your heart set on? And your mind then can make it happen unless it has the wrong mindset, like, I could never do that. I don't have enough money. I don't have the time. I don't have the skill. I'm the wrong color. I'm whatever. I'm too old. I'm too young. Those are all mindsets that people have, and they are irrelevant if you want something badly enough.
Okay, but here's the point. Here's the point. We think we want certain things, and we'll cover this, but we think we want certain things. So I meet a woman. Now, am I going to be who I am, or am I going to be who I think she wants me to be? That in and of itself is a major problem. Apply for a job, a relationship, and many, many things. We're frightened to death of going beyond what somebody thinks we should be, or what we think somebody thinks we should be.
Correct. And so we need to get to the truth of the matter in our heart. Why do you want with that relationship with that woman? If you're just trying to get in bed with her, that's a different attitude than to be loved and cherished by her and feel that towards her.
Sure.
And if that's what you want, you're going to act the way you're going to be so that she ends up falling in love with and cherishing who you are, not just what you did for 6 weeks to get her in the sack.
Okay, so here I am, totally confused. I have no idea what I want in life. What's my first step? What do I look at first?
There's two questions to ask. The first one is, what do I want with all my heart? And I have to explain that in a minute. But there's a measuring way, kind of like on the Richter scale for an earthquake. If it's a 9 on the Richter scale, it's really powerful. If it's only a 2, you get a little tremor. And we need to be at number 9. We need to be at 100 on the scale. And most people do not know how to pay attention to their hearts about that. A good example would be a woman who said to me on stage, because after I teach the concept, I can demonstrate it on stage. So I have a stranger come up, several actually, and I ask her, what would you like to have that you're not getting? So that's the first question. And she said instantly, I want financial independence. I turned to the audience and said, measure that. And they all said, it's not 100. And she stomped her foot on the stage and she said, it is too. You do not know me. It's exactly what I want. And I said, here's the second question. I call it the drill question, to drill down to the truth or the core desire. I said, if you had financial freedom, what would that give you that you don't have? So that's question number 1 repeated. And she instantly responded, "Oh, I would travel. I love to travel." I turned to the audience and said, "Measure that." And I'd already taught them all how to measure it, including the one on the stage, and she wasn't able to do it for herself. So we all said, "No, it's not 100. She said, "You are so wrong. I love to travel. I love to see places in the world I've never seen before." Well, if you could travel, what would that give you that you don't have? Question number 1 again. This time she looked down at the floor, at the ceiling. She looked up at the ceiling, thought for a second, and then she said quietly into the microphone, "Peace."
Yeah.
I turned to the audience and I said, "Look at the difference between that. Is that a higher percentage on an emotional scale of 1 to 100? And everybody said yes. "But it's not 100. She said, "I do want peace." I said, "If you had peace," there's the drill question. First question, what would that give you that you're not getting? This time she looked at the floor, and I've learned when people look up, they're in their head. When they look down, they're in their heart. She looks down at the floor, and when she looked up after about 10 or 15 seconds of silence, she was crying. And she said, "I'd be getting along with my husband." Then I said, "What if I could show you how to get along with your husband?" She says, "I'd give anything." I turned to the audience and said, "Measure that." Such a difference in the emotional response. People don't pay attention to their emotional response, and that's what I call core desires. And until you plug into that, a barrier, an obstacle that's bigger than a desire that you say you have, if the barrier or obstacle is bigger than the end result that you want, it will stop you, just like a dam does water. But if you want that thing, whatever it is, in her case, she wished she could get along with her husband, end result, you're going to go over that dam, around it, blow it up. You're going to maybe slow down by it, but you're going to get around it. And a good example of that is a 14-year-old boy who said, "Mr. Zufelt, I want to be a black belt in karate just like you. What's it going to take?" Normally it's 4.5 years. I told him 5.5 years, and normally it's 1 hour of practice a day. And I told him 2 because he had a serious physical challenge as a result of a surgery that he was put through when he was 9. And he was so uncoordinated, he could not lift 1 foot off the ground in any way, shape, or form and do any kind of kick without literally falling to his hands and knees or to his butt. That's not black belt material. So I gave him an extra year and an hour a day to get past that. And his response was, "Really? Is that all? When can I start?" So, jump ahead, 5 years later, he was the state champion. Now, a professor at the university in that same city comes and asks me the same question. "I want to be a black belt. What's it going to take?" I told him 4 years, not 5, of your life, 1 hour of practice, not 2, like I told the young boy. And his response was, his eyes got big and his mouth dropped open. He said, "I had no idea. I guess I don't want to be a black belt that bad."
See,
Well,
Jack,
he never even started. So that's what most people's goals look like. That's why I say, don't write goals down. They're a waste of time. That's what will happen is you're going to have 8 out of 10 things you write down on a piece of paper called goals are not going to happen. 2 will. And I've identified what was there for those 2 that everybody gets and the other 8 that was missing for them. Why didn't they get them too? Well, they just didn't want them bad enough. The other 2 they did, and they would have got them without writing it down.
Yeah, but see, Jack, if you come down to it, I want to go back to the woman again, all right? You
Yep.
know, and I listened very closely to her story. You mentioned something about the drill. The old adage about what do you want, the drill or the hole? You want a hole in the wall at home, so you go down to the hardware store to get a drill. You buying the drill or you buying the hole? Most people say I'm buying the drill. That's not what you're buying. You're buying the end result, what that drill is going to do for you. You're buying the hole. If a pickle could make the hole, that's what you'd have bought to get to your end result. Okay.
I love that. That's perfect, with one exception, or one addition, I should say, is that she did want to get along with her husband, but believed with all her heart that that wasn't going to work. They were talking divorce. They'd been at each other's throats for 5 years. She'd given up, and they were just roommates.
Okay, wait,
fighting.
Okay, let me add to this. Let me finish that statement, then we'll move on. Okay. So the drill is the delivery system. All right. Now the drill is more money. The drill is travel. What the hole was, at which she would not admit to anybody, and it really never came out. It wasn't what the drill. I'm sorry. What the money was and the travel was, she was escaping, and she didn't want to say, "I'm escaping because I don't want to deal with not being able to get along with my husband." Now,
Brilliant, Michael. Brilliant. Now, let me give you the connecting dots, and you almost said it, but there's 4 dots to connect.
Okay.
She wanted financial independence so she could travel, which would mean she would then have peace because she would be away from the problem.
Yeah.
Now, jump ahead. Literally 24 hours later, after I taught her what to do with her husband, She went home and did it before the seminar was over, which was an all-day seminar. She comes back 3 hours later, and things had changed. And 6 months later, I followed up with her to see how things were. She said, I didn't know you could be so happy. I am so happy. I said, well, how about having financial independence? And she says, no, but we have enough. How about travel? I love to travel, but I don't want to go anywhere without my husband. Well, how about peace? She said, I have total, complete peace.
Yeah, and that's...
The only thing that changed was she changed her paradigm about what really she wanted and then found somebody that could help her get it. So that's the key to success, not goal setting, not affirmations, visualization, walking on hot coals. The key to success, and this is the DNA to success, is to identify on a scale from 1 to hundreds, the hundreds, and then the easy part is find a teacher, trainer, mentor, class, book, professor that knows how to do it, and listen to them and follow their advice. And if you want it bad enough, I don't care how expensive it is or how risky it is or how hard it is, you're going to do it. That's how come when I live in Colorado and people are up here in Vail skiing and they're blind or they only have one leg or they have no legs and they want to ski so bad. I got a friend that wanted to ski so bad. He was a ski instructor, but he broke his leg so bad it had like 11 pins in it. And he's saying to the doctor while he's getting a cast put on, he said, when can I get up and ski? He says, you're not skiing this year at all. 6 weeks later, he's up skiing with a full-length cast on his leg. He wanted to ski so bad.
There is nothing that you can't do if you, and there's that word again, if you want to do it. I think the tagline of the book is really what it's about, what you want to get what you want. And the most important thing that I think we're talking about here is this, Jack, it's finding out what it is you really want. Because if you mask it with this other stuff, then you're never going to get what you want, and you go through a life of being frustrated and disappointed.
Bullseye. That is absolutely correct. The thing I'm learning, and I'm a bit of a contrarian, because I'm saying if you want success but you don't know what it is, that's why so many success books are sold. I have a best-selling book, The DNA of Success, 15 languages, and that book will not make anybody any more successful than anybody else if they don't want what's in it. I ask my audiences around the world, have you read Think and Grow Rich? Raise your hand. Geez, half the audience will raise their hand. Then I say, keep your hand up if you're rich. All hands go down. So I obviously think, I tell them, obviously the book is stupid. I mean, wrong or you're stupid. Which is it? And it's neither. They're not stupid and the book's not wrong. They just didn't want to apply what was in it. Yet I know 2 women who became very wealthy because of that book, and one of them has endorsed me, Mary Kay Ash of Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Yeah.
Did you knowing what you want so you can do what it takes to get it? And 97% can't do that. That's what made my book a bestseller.
Did she give you a pink Cadillac?
I didn't want one, but no, I have to earn that. I didn't want to sell.
I don't know about earning it. You know, I'm old school. I'm a product of the 50s as a teenager. I don't think I could drive a pink Cadillac. But,
me either.
But
I'd ride in it if she was driving, though.
Different story. But I think that's really what it is. You know, you go all the way back to the basics. First off, if you don't know what you want, you're never going to get what you want. But you have to have a process to peel it away, just like you're talking about. The process to peel away all of the things that stop you or blindside you and mask what it is that you really want. Once you got the process and you peel it away, all of a sudden you got a target to shoot at.
Have you got time for one more beautiful story about that?
You bet.
There was a young man, 28 years old, in my audience, in a wheelchair, paralyzed from the waist down. He raised his hand halfway through the seminar and said, Mr. Zufelt, can I say something? I think your seminar is great, but what you're teaching is a lie, at least for me. It will not work for me. So I had him brought to the stage. 4 guys lifted him up on the stage, and I knelt down beside him and said, what is it that you want that you're not getting? He said, I want to play pro football. But he then points at his legs. He said, but I'm paralyzed. There's no way I can ever have what I want. And I said, why do you like football so much? And then he began to tell us about a high school experience and a college experience where he was a record-breaking quarterback. He was scattered out by the colleges and offered 5 scholarships. He took one. While at college, he was being scattered out by the pros. He was that good. But when he was 21, I think, he got in a car accident, broke his back, paralyzed from the waist down. End of football career. So for the rest of his life, he was watching football, vicariously enjoying it, and so he wished he could still play it. So my statement to him was, what if I could show you how to feel all those feelings you had when you were a quarterback, where you were popular, you were written up in the papers, and girls hung on your arms, and you were making a future for yourself. What if I could show you how to have all of that, again, only this time without a football? what happened next surprised the audience. His chin dropped down to his chest, and Michael, he began to sob. And I crying so hard he couldn't breathe.
Sure.
Finally, after about a minute, he looks up and he said, "If you could do that for me, I'd be eternally grateful." Well, I've had all those things happen to me without a football, so I knew it was possible. Yeah. Jump ahead 6 months. On Parade Magazine, in the newspaper every Sunday comes Parade Magazine. On the cover of it was a picture of 5 people rappelling down a mountain, a cliff.
Yeah.
One of them had a wheelchair strapped to his backside. This guy was now doing that, and he ends up married. He ends up producing children. I don't know how that can happen, but he did. He changed everything when he figured out what he really wanted. It wasn't to play pro or any kind of football. It was to feel those feelings again.
Yeah, but Jack,
so
you know
what I did in my book and my seminars, I teach people, how do you figure that out? 97% of the people out there can't figure it out.
Now, okay, but real quick question. Not even a question. Let me tell you what I saw out of that. He needed somebody to give him permission to do it. He was not going to do it himself. And in essence, what you did is you gave him permission and you showed him how to do it.
Yes.
That's exactly.
I don't know that I gave him permission, but I showed him
in his
the
mind.
Truth. And my main mentor said, if you know the truth, it'll set you free. All I did was shine a bright light on his truth. He embraced it and enacted on it.
But let's do this real quick. We're just about done on time. But 100 years ago, in a different world and in a different life for me, I went to San Francisco with a group of people, and it was a hypnosis convention. And there was a guy there, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. There was a guy there who was blind, and he was dressed. He had a reverse collar like the Catholic priests have, and they had a dark jacket on. And they were talking about blindness and so on and so forth. And the one guy got up and said, I can probably help this guy. So everybody said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So he took him into the back room. They came out. Now, I witnessed this. This was in the middle 70s. I witnessed this. The guy came back. Jack, he could see, all right? So we asked the guy what he did, and he wasn't sure what he did, but we knew once he said it. He noticed that the guy's wearing, the reverse collar and the black jacket, looking like a priest. Nothing he did was work. And then he said to him, in the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to see. The guy's sight came back because what happened, the blindness, which nobody knew, was psychosomatic. And he was so religious that he figured he better do it or he'd be in trouble with God. And that man walked out, and to this day, I'm sure he finally sees. But in essence, it's giving somebody permission to do so if they can't do it themselves or they don't know how to get the permission.
I love that story. And I am so grateful that you have me on your show so that however thousands and thousands of people are hearing you, I get to help them a little bit today, too.
Oh, wonderful. And by the way, I hear you loud and clear. All right. Website we can find you at to get the book.
DNAofsuccess.com. Go there, and I'll even give you a year's subscription to my popular Z Report. People love that, as well as the book.
Okay.
Just go to DNAofsuccess.com.
Okay, a quick question. What else, beside the book, what else do you do? What else do you offer?
I teach people how to give the one thing they all tell me they want, how to make money. If anybody on this call wants to learn how to make money, go to DNAdollars.com, and get a free report from me on the various ways to make money, the pros and cons, and I've made money in all of them, millions. So I'm qualified to lead people on the way to create income over and above whatever they're currently doing, because if they're seeking ways to make money and they haven't got it yet, they're in the dark. I'll shine a bright light on that, too, and help them become financially free.
Okay, one more time with your website, please.
DNAdollars.com.
Wonderful. Hey, Jack, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Michael.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.